For months, astronomers reassured the world that 3I, Atlas, or 3 Atlas, as it's now called, would pass through our solar system quietly. A fleeting visitor, nothing more. It would sweep past Mars, glimmer faintly in our telescopes, and vanish into the cold black of interstellar space. But space, as history has shown us, rarely keeps its promises. Because now, the James Webb Space Telescope, humanity's most powerful eye turned toward the stars, has revealed data that turns that quiet assurance into a storm of uncertainty. What was once a routine interstellar flyby has become a cosmic enigma, something so far outside natural explanation that even seasoned scientists are whispering the unthinkable. 3 Atlas might not just be passing. It might be aiming. When 3 Atlas was first detected in July, astronomers saw just another interstellar object. It was fast, moving at nearly 87 kilometers per second relative to the Sun. At that velocity, it could cross the distance between Earth and the Moon in under 80 minutes. Speed alone wasn't unusual. But then came the strange part, its behavior. Comets are erratic, yes, but ultimately predictable. They brighten as they approach the Sun, shed gas, fragment, and eventually fade away. 3 Atlas did none of that. It accelerated, subtly but undeniably. Its trajectory shifted, not randomly but with impossible precision. And its coma, that glowing shroud of dust and gas, didn't dim or break apart. It brightened exponentially, as if fueled by something more than sunlight. Spectral scans revealed bursts of ultraviolet energy and carbon dioxide outgassing far beyond anything seen in natural interstellar objects. The pattern was too consistent, too rhythmic, as though it were being controlled. 3 Atlas, it seemed, was maneuvering. Then came the discovery that silenced observatories worldwide. Webb's deep field instruments detected rhythmic pulses in the comet's tail, 17-minute intervals of gas emissions repeating like clockwork. These weren't chaotic jets from vaporizing ice, they were measured, deliberate thrusts. If this was coincidence, it was an impossible one. As astronomers tracked the object's movement, a frightening realization emerged. 3 Atlas's projected path, once a safe flyby, had shifted. The new data showed an alignment almost perfectly aimed toward Mars. The comet's closest approach was recalculated, 1.95 million kilometers. In cosmic terms, that's practically a whisper. And simulations revealed that even a minor velocity adjustment, just 10 kilometers per second, could send it directly into a collision course. One small nudge. One pulse of energy. And Mars would become ground zero. Radar echoes from NASA's Goldstone antennas and the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter added another unsettling detail. The reflections suggested metallic structures embedded within the comet's nucleus, not the soft, porous texture typical of ice and dust, but dense, complex lattices. Meanwhile, amateur astronomers photographing its tail noticed thin green beams, needle-like streams, converging toward Mars in synchronization with the 17-minute pulses. 3 Atlas wasn't just glowing. It was signaling. Then came a bold hypothesis from Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb and his team. What if 3 Atlas isn't a natural object at all? What if it's an engineered probe, a machine built by an intelligence we cannot yet comprehend? If true, its purpose remains unknown. But its precision, its emissions, its targeting, all point toward Mars. And the implications are staggering. At its estimated mass, around 10 billion tons, and relative speed of 57 kilometers per second, a direct impact would unleash over 2 million megatons of energy. That's thousands of times more powerful than the largest nuclear explosion in Earth's history. The resulting crater would be 60 kilometers wide and 5 deep. Debris would scatter across Martian orbit, and some fragments might even reach Earth. But this isn't just about physics. Mars is a world filled with decades of human history. Rovers, orbiters, experiments, and dreams. An impact of this magnitude wouldn't just erase machinery. It could erase evidence, geological, biological, or otherwise. And if 3 Atlas carries biological material, organic molecules, spores, or even synthetic life, it could seed Mars with life forms not born of our solar system. Scientists call this reverse panspermia, life deliberately transported to another planet. As Webb continued its scans, something even stranger emerged. The telescope spectrometers detected traces of synthetic polymers and carbon nanotubes within the comet's gas emissions, materials that cannot form spontaneously in nature. Even the isotopic ratios of carbon and hydrogen didn't match anything known in our solar system. 3 Atlas wasn't just foreign, it was manufactured. Space agencies worldwide scrambled to respond. Emergency task forces were formed, not to intercept the object. We have no technology capable of that, but to decode it. And that's when cryptographers at the SEI Institute made a discovery that changed everything. Hidden in the comet's motion were patterns, atomic numbers, prime sequences, and recurring timing intervals resembling deep space communication protocols. It was as if 3 Atlas was using its trajectory as language. Each pulse, each course correction, was a piece of code, a sentence written in motion across the solar system. 3 Atlas wasn't just approaching Mars. It was communicating through mathematics, rhythm, and geometry. Then came the alignment. 3 Atlas's orbit intersected directly above a region on Mars known as Elysium Planitia, a young, strangely symmetrical plane. Satellite imagery showed concentric ridges and spiraling flows resembling the Fibonacci sequence. At its center, a crystalline outcrop emitted faint infrared flashes every 17 minutes, matching the comet's pulses exactly. Coincidence? Or a rendezvous? Behind the comet, astronomers noticed a secondary shadow, a dark companion moving in perfect sync, immune to gravitational drift. It followed every turn, every pulse. Was it a drone? A reflection? Or something entirely beyond our current understanding? Even history began whispering clues. Ancient civilizations, the Babylonians, the Mayans, the Tibetans, the Incas, all recorded sky events eerily similar to 3 Atlas's path. Curving, serpents of light, descending near the sun and pointing toward Mars appear again and again in myth and stone. One artifact from Tiwanaku in Bolivia depicts radiant lines extending from Mars in perfect correlation to modern debris field projections. Could they have known something about this? Could this event be part of a cycle, one we've witnessed before, and will again? Then, Mars itself began to respond. The ExoMars Trace gas orbiter detected xenon isotopes venting from fissures in the Cerberus Fossae region, each accompanied by subtle magnetic pulses repeating every 17 minutes. The same rhythm. The same pattern. It was as if the planet were awakening, synchronizing with the approaching object. And when Webb captured the final high-resolution data, the picture became undeniable. Within the comet's molecular emissions were RNA-like strands, prebiotic structures coded with recursive logic patterns. They weren't alive, but they were information. It was life, not as biology, but as data. Knowledge traveling across light years. Then came the alignment, the triple resonance. Earth, Mars, and the Sun fell into perfect linear alignment as 3 Atlas crossed the solar axis. The timing matched precisely with ancient monuments on Earth, Stonehenge, Teotihuacan, Giza, all of which pointed toward this same configuration. It wasn't just astronomy. It was choreography. Mars, the red observer. Earth, the awakened witness. The Sun, the eternal axis. And 3 Atlas, the messenger that completes the pattern. High-resolution orbital cameras then captured something impossible. Shifting Martian dust forming symmetrical shapes near Noctis Labyrinthus, concentric circles evolving into a single image. An eye. Tilted at exactly 23.5 degrees, Earth's axial tilt. Mars was no longer just being observed. It was observing back. As Webb completed its final deep scan, the comet's organic emissions displayed encrypted frequency intervals matching musical scales, harmonic structures intentionally designed for recognition. 3 Atlas wasn't an object anymore. It was a conversation. Each pulse was a signal. Each orbit, a word. Each alignment, a reply. The countdown was never to impact. It was to resonance. Light, motion, and gravity aligned in Fibonacci intervals, 7 pulses, pause, 3 pulses, pause, 13 pulses, forming a recursive golden spiral of energy and meaning. Mars, Earth, and the Sun were synchronized in a communication billions of years in the making. 3 Atlas didn't arrive to destroy. It arrived to be understood. Perhaps intelligence doesn't travel in ships at all, but in patterns, ratios, and resonances that transcend biology. Perhaps 3 Atlas isn't a visitor. It's a mirror, reflecting what we are becoming. If you've made it this far, remember, we might not just be observing the universe. The universe might be observing us. If you want to stay on the edge of this unfolding story, every pulse, every signal, every new revelation, subscribe to our channel because what's coming next isn't just astronomy. It's history, being written in real time across the stars.